Welcome to the I-80 Club Saturday morning coffee show. Josh and Jack with you on the final day of February. Jack, hello.
Suck it, February. You can suck it. I walked my dog the other day, and there was a little pile of snow left, and I stopped and
start talking shit to it.
I talked some crap to that snow. I did. I was like, "Do you like dying?" I don't know. You might have until the end of the afternoon. Maybe not. Maybe you'll get to the night, but you'll be gone tomorrow then. And then
doesn't it feel good, Jack? Of all of the things that you and I are different on, maybe one of us likes voice to text. Maybe one of us uses the wrong emoji. Maybe one of us is a fan of the Dallas Cowboys like a big idiot. But the thing that we agree on is weather and counting down days and chopping off weeks and doing all those things. Yep. And we have done it. It is March. In 15 hours? 15 hours from right now, it will be March, and it will be the greatest March in the history of the I-80 Club. It is gonna rock. It's gonna rock. This month for us.
It's not the highest bar, but still, yes, I would say. I mean, there have been 3 marches before. Yes,
this will be. Let's see, 23, 24, 25. This will be our 4th March. Wow,
we're getting old.
Dude, we are getting old. The I-80 Club can walk now. I mean, it can ask for, I want a Sprite. I want a drink.
Next summer, do we have like a 5-year anniversary next summer, like festival?
That's a great idea.
Fest?
That's a great idea.
Out at like
are you making a promise right now, Jack? That we're gonna make a promise that we're
have a concert, get a good concert, do some concerts and some live podcasts.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, welcome in, everybody. Josh and Jack with you. If you are joining us for the first time ever, we appreciate you. Also, how did you stumble upon us? Please let us know. This is the I-80 Club. We do this podcast each and every Saturday at about this time, 9 o'clock. Each week, sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later. Either way, we appreciate you joining us. We'll be talking a lot of basketball today, which is honestly, Jack, what we have been talking about a lot of on like all of our shows lately. Thank God for Nebraska basketball. Where would we be without them? I have no idea.
No kidding. Them. Have you? Wow. I have not even thought about the world, how much we needed this and we didn't even know it. Right? Like, what would we be doing every day? Would Caleb and I be slogging through a post USC Nebrasketball hour tonight where we're like, NIT bubble. Let's check the NIT bubble bracketology here, which I have done multiple of the last several years.
Jab says you guys would be talking about the mediocre football team. We'd be talking about the mediocre football team, Jack. Thank God we're not doing that very much.
Jabs, 4 minutes in, Jabs takes his first shot at the football team.
Or does he take his first jab?
Oh, that would have been a better.
Team, Josh I thought that's where you were going with
jabs at football frequently, I would say.
Got him. Oh, and a great point from Jabs. Remember when Jack didn't want to do a Nebraska?
Oh, thanks for bringing that up. Nobody had mentioned that. That's hilarious.
Jack, I was
yes, I do. It sucked last year.
Was it you with Caleb or you with Schaefer yesterday? You mentioned the USC game last year, and for a second I was like, the USC game last year, and I was trying, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I remember that game. It was terrible. And then I started thinking about how you didn't want to do this show. And now we have a title sponsor and we're going to the NCAA tournament. So bullying works. bullying works. Good job by Caleb and myself to bully you into doing this show. And remember when it was like, maybe we'll do a few of them this year. And now we go on after every game, except for Tuesday. But that's only because we're going to do a watch party at 10 p.m. for the UCLA
and we're
game.
still, and we're pulling like, over 200 people still after a blowout of, what was it, Maryland? Yeah. We were still getting over 200 pretty much that whole show. So yeah, we are. Well, let's talk at the beginning real quick about the NCAA trip instead of posting it at the end, because like it is, man, Josh, it's getting freaking exciting.
It is getting freaking exciting.
The I-80 Club, the first ever I-80 Club Roadshow, hopefully first of many, brought to you by Husker Power Products. Shout out Joe. Shout out Husker Power Products. Get to the website, find some power products for you. We're going to be telling you a lot more about them in the coming weeks, because they have, I'm like, if you want to thank a business, thank Husker Power Products, because they are the one, we wouldn't be going. We honestly wouldn't be going if we weren't with them. So that's incredible. Old, around since 1981. Awesome. Family-owned business. Shout out Hastings. Shout out originally Ainsworth and then Hastings. So super excited. And then the other thing is we continue to add community partners. Oh my gosh, Josh. It's going nuts with the community partners right now. This week we added Visit Lincoln. We have, I think I can announce a couple of new ones too.
Well, I was going to say, I got a graphic for one of the new ones. If you want me to throw that on the screen right now.
Why don't we just do one of them?
Boom, look at this. An orchestra.
I got the freaking symphony orchestra on board. How's that taste? You like them apples? Oh, they got Ed's name on there. Man, I wish Ed would. Maybe we could get Ed to come out and party with us on the road show. He lives in Baltimore.
Shout out to the Lincoln Symphony Orchestra for sponsoring. Look at that. Look at the cool font that we got, the road show, dance with the skirts. And then it's like,
I love it.
Symphony Orchestra. They know what's going on. The high-minded folks like us, Jack. That's what I think we're learning right now.
Do you have the one with all of them handy so I can shout out everyone else? I can pull.
I will work on that during the show because I've not updated it with the new logo. So I will get that going.
I just wanted to shout out because we had it. I mean, that wasn't even the only. Those weren't even the new. We had one before that this week too. So we have got, and I just want to make sure I have the full list here so I don't miss anyone and shout all these folks out. Lincoln Symphony Orchestra, Visit Lincoln. We said both of those. 5-Star Bath we added this week.
5-Star Bath.
Shout out Trent. That's a new business in Lincoln. Get hooked up with them if you want to redo your bathroom. The Still got a liquor store.
Let's go, baby.
We got. I mean, and the Still is freaking awesome. Aaron is great. Sutton Linder and Sutton Eye Surgical Associates. Shout out Don. Shout out iFormation. Sandstone Wealth Management. Shout out Tyler.
Let's go, baby.
Get your money right. Tyler's gonna make you a millionaire. That's what he told me. He's like millionaire guaranteed. Whatever.
I just moved my 401k. You know, my business got sold. People might have heard about it. They might have read about it in the news. And I moved my 401k over there. And the first question from Riss when we did this was, when will we have $1 million? Or maybe it was, tell Tyler we want to have $1 million. And he said that's the plan. So
at this rate,
Tyler.
soon.
Yeah, exactly. At this rate, very soon. He did not make any promises, so I don't want to make a promise for him where he'll make you a millionaire in 5 days or your money back. But he will help manage your money extremely well.
This still provided, prior to all this, that bourbon that I drink when Nebraska gets big wins, which I have not cracked since the what game? Illinois? No, man, it's been a while since I busted the bourbon out. It certainly
has been a while.
I think today might be. I think a win today might do it.
Do you think so?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I kind of want some.
Okay. I mean, look, Jack, I'm not going to tell you to not have it. I mean,
I could get.
I mean, Aaron, if USC warranted that type of celebration.
Maybe Aaron could give me a slightly lesser one for today.
Oh, there you go. I like that idea.
Maybe we could do that. By the way, they have a location now in Omaha too. Do you know that?
Ooh,
still has a location in Omaha. You ought to go visit them.
Look at this. I was going to say I'm going to absolutely go support them. We're in the need of some bourbon, actually, Jack. We just ran out of some of ours last night.
Oh, yep. So, and then did I forget any? Sutton Linder, Sutton, Eye Surgical Associates. I want to get LASIK from Sutton Linder and Sutton someday.
Let's go.
That's my hope and my dream. So anyway, but like people have come out. It's been awesome. Like the amount of businesses and it's really just. It's not like. it's all people that we're connected to and who have decided to jump on board and help us, and we want to give them a lot of love back. So thank all of those, support all of those places. There are going to be more, and that doesn't even mention all of our road crew. We've got road crew that we need to shout out to, who are many of them. Man. Some of them are here.
Yep.
We got Corey, we got Lindsay, we got Reese, we got Lincoln. Lincoln Arneal is on the road.
Lincoln Arneal.
Lincoln, we'll just deduct that from your regular volleyball state payment.
Nice.
And Jordan as well. And I hope I didn't miss any in there. If you're on there and I didn't mention
there's
you,
like 10 people. It's in the email. We'll continue to get
shout yourself out in the chat in the Discord if you're one of them.
Somebody bought one yesterday and I don't have their name. So
and by the way,
please, if you buy this stuff, let us know for the
what that is.
God,
it's $100. It's a sweatshirt that's $100, which is an overpriced sweatshirt. There's no doubt about that. But you're supporting the trip with that. We're making it possible for us. And I'm still working on some extra surprise perks, which isn't so much of a surprise, but just be ready. Okay.
I had a conversation. There's a couple other sponsors that we are locking up right now that we're in the process of having those conversations with. And it sounds like, Jack, when we lock those conversations up, that there might be some swag that comes with it as well. Here is, by the way, a picture of the hoodie. If you would like to get it, the front and the back, the road crew on the back. We would love to have your support there. The link is in the show notes. The link will continue to be in the show notes as we roll on throughout the rest of the trip. And Jack, I have that graphic for later on, which has all of our confirmed sponsors for the road show. So we'll have that a little bit later on in the show. Should we talk about the USC game, which is a few hours away from tipping off on the West Coast?
By the way, somebody asked if we would drive to Buffalo or Greenville. No,
absolutely not.
We're outside of we're driving to OKC or St. Louis. It's not going to be in St. Louis. I think we can probably cancel our Airbnb in St. Louis. Man, I won't do that. But but did you see that? Have you heard Joe Lunardi? Did you see where Joe Lunardi put Nebraska?
Doesn't he have them as like a 4 seed or some bullshit? Like, what is going on with this man?
I think it's a 3 seed, but he's got him in Tampa.
Really?
Yeah.
And I know that makes you very excited.
I want freaking palm trees.
Did you hear the interview that Mike Schaefer did with Damon Benning on the Nebrasketball Tuesday this week? Did you hear that? Where they talked about Tampa and he said, "Do you have any stories about Tampa?" And Damon told this long story, a funny one, I might add, about a strip club. Did you hear this? Did you
No,
see
I
this?
did
you
not.
Hear about
I
this?
missed it. It's hard to keep up.
Incredible stuff.
All right.
Incredible
I'll tune
stuff.
that in.
So
I was excited to have Damon on the show. Look at that.
I could tell how excited you were. You obviously loved listening to it.
I mean, come on, Josh. I keeping up with our content and then producing our content.
Yes,
it's becoming.
And you have
difficult.
A radio show. You have
do you
two
think,
radio shows.
I mean, do you think the guys who run ESPN watch it 24/7? I mean, no, they can't. They just can't. They don't have the time.
D-Dub says, I looked at Tampa plane tickets this morning. Not going to be easy to get there with spring break in full swing.
Especially with no one going to Mexico anymore.
Yeah, not great. Not great for us. I mean, Jack has been dreaming about Florida. That's like your number 3, is it not? Is it Oklahoma City, St. Louis, and then is it Tampa?
No, San Diego's ahead. San Diego is my number 3. Like if Price does not factor in, Price.
Sanford?
Because Pryce is definitely going to fit in, jerks. If Pryce doesn't fit in, I think San Diego would be my overall. If price and logistics didn't factor in, San Diego would definitely be number 1 for me.
Really?
How could it not?
Yeah, that's fair. That's
How
fair.
could it
Though
not?
Damon Benning, and Matt points it out, Damon says he doesn't like San Diego since it's overrated and the weather isn't that good. Let's not take his opinions on locations seriously from now on. He did. When that was brought up, he was like overrated. I've been to San Diego one time as well. I went to the Holiday Bowl when Nebraska played USC. Following the firing of Bo
Did you enjoy it? Was it good? You liked it?
The stadium was an absolute dump, but we were in Arizona for Christmas, and so my parents on Christmas morning they surprised us with tickets, and so it was literally a drive to San Diego, watch the game, stay at a hotel, drive back to Arizona. So sadly, I didn't get a chance. Like we didn't go have tacos, we didn't go to the beach, we didn't go down any of those types of things. It seemed okay. The stadium sucked, but. That's neither here nor there.
Would you mind, since we're talking about, before we get into this game and we're kind of taking a large picture talking about the tournament, would you mind if I'm going on the bracket matrix site and I'm going to find the best bracketologists because they rank them. They have a running ranking over the course of all the years that they've been in it. And I was just going to find what the best bracketologist has. At least here's the problem. That site is really cool, but it also kind of sucks.
I was going to say it's a terrible website in terms of like the actual doing of the job, you know, like I guess it does the basic necessities, but it's not, I mean, it's not a modern website.
Well, there's that, but there's also the fact that it's so unclear when all these things get updated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here I got, okay, here's the highest ranked one. And this came out yesterday. And and this doesn't have locations, unfortunately. I thought it might, but it doesn't. But it has got Nebraska as a 3 seed. I assume this would have been before the Purdue game or the Illinois game last night. We can talk about that in a moment. But it's got a 3 seed. The ones are Duke, Michigan, Arizona, UConn. Like that feels pretty set, doesn't it? That those 1 seeds.
Say them again.
Duke, Michigan, Arizona, UConn.
Yes, absolutely it does.
Set 2 seeds, Iowa State, Houston, Purdue, Illinois. Purdue and Illinois can lose out and they'll still be a 2 seed. There's nothing you can do to get those guys off that line. Oh my gosh.
I love your new hatred of all of these conversations. I'm so happy I don't listen to college basketball content.
3, well, it's not even that. All you got to do is look at these brackets. 3, Florida, Kansas, Nebraska, Gonzaga, and then 4, if you're wondering, Michigan State, Texas Tech, Virginia, Alabama. So it again shows like, I mean, maybe Michigan State, or if Texas Tech somehow does okay without Toppin, continues to do okay with Toppin, like there's not a lot of chance, I don't think, of Nebraska really getting picked off from behind outside of the floor falling out. It does feel like they have a decent way to go, that they could go up, though. Again, you're going to have to start counting losses by teams like Purdue and Illinois as losses. But it's interesting to see that. That is really kind of, it seems like where the consensus has set in right now. And here is, let's see, I got the next ranked guy here, if I've got it. Let's see. Oh, this is not what I wanted. Sorry. This is live internet browsing. Here we go. Here it is. Nebraska in this second one. Oh, look, Illinois is a 2 seed after their loss last night. Weird.
Oh, and real quick, this has been updated even after the games last night, right?
Yes, this one.
Or is this?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, this one has Nebraska as a 3 seed in Greenville. Playing, man, I swear half of these have us playing our Navy. Once again, Nebraska playing our Navy. And then the second round game would be against St. John's. I've also seen that a decent amount. Greenville.
Don't know how I feel about that. On one hand, like they are good. On the other hand, UConn just beat them by 1 billion and they scored like 2 points in the second half. So maybe that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Just worry about those teams with the athleticism.
Next one I pull up has Nebraska in this is exactly the same, that 3 spot in the exact same place and location. So, I mean, it's pretty consistent right now. I was going to say,
so what's the takeaway from all of this?
I think my takeaway is still the teams that can move. I mean, I think that kind of middle spot between the 2 to the 4, where Nebraska could either go down or up, the teams in front of them that they could really get some help from, just in terms of actually moving up the ladder, are Florida, Purdue, Illinois, and Kansas. And I don't think,
especially if Kansas wins today, we don't do who you're rooting for on here, and we don't do the Saturday flight on non-football shows. But good Lord, we need them to go down at Arizona today.
Yeah.
Like, that is so important for
absolutely.
If they, because like Jack, I've been thinking about this. So Kansas, a week ago, you and I are doing this show. After we log off of our subscriber-only IAD Live, which, by the way, we do have one of those coming up at the top of the hour, patreon.com/I80 Club, if you would like to watch that one with us today. And then not too long, Jack, after we log off, the committee does their first and only, look at the rankings in the top 16 teams before the bracket actually comes out. And so Kansas right in front of Nebraska. And we're all like, all right, need them to lose. We talked about it on the shows last week. Not only do we need Kansas to drop to good teams, but we need them to drop to a team they shouldn't. Well, they get beat and they get kind of boat raced in the second half by Cincinnati. You and Caleb talk about it a little bit on the Nebrasketball.
Didn't hurt them too much, though.
Well, here's what happens. They get a win versus Houston on
That's
Monday.
True.
And so my question for you is, like, did that cancel out the loss? Because I still have seen on some of these brackets, Nebraska is in front of Kansas. On the bracket matrix, Nebraska is in front of Kansas, right?
That's the one. That seems like the one flip that you see between these.
And D-Dub says it.
And Gonzaga too, but
need KU to get hammered by Arizona today. The Big 12 is almost perfectly traded wins to keep them above Nebraska. Absolutely. Need Kansas to lose to Arizona. And then, I mean, of course, the best thing that could happen would be that they also, lose a different game along the way.
And D'Lo was saying Florida's going to be a 2. In this one, Florida got moved up to a 2.
Yeah, which triggers you to no
end. Infuriates me. That infuriates me. I can't even begin to tell you how much that infuriates me. And Purdue actually got moved down to a 3 on this Bauertology that I'm looking at. And what do you know? You know what it's got? Different bracket, Nebraska versus our Navy in Greenville again. And guess who in the second round? BYU.
Let me ask you this, and this can now turn us specifically into Nebraska, because I love this question from D'Lo. What is Nebraska's most likely record in the final 3 games of the regular season? 3-0, 2-1, 1-2, or 0-3. According to Bart, they are favored to win all of them. Now, it's very short favorites. The Vegas line is actually a little shorter than the Bart line today. USC, they're favored to win by 5.3 points. UCLA on Tuesday, 1.5 points. Iowa in the finale, 6.1 points. So you're looking at a 5-point favorite, a 1.5 point favorite, a 6-point favorite, according to Bart. Yet the projected record at the end of the year is 26-5, aka going 2-1, and that's because that's how math works.
That's if you were like, hey, you have to get this exactly right, you win $1,000, I would say 2-1.
2-1
to me is the most likely.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think 2-1 is the most likely. Then I think 1-2 and 3-0 are about tied for second. Yeah. I think 0-3 seems unlikely.
I'd go 2-1, 2-1, 3-0, 1-2, 0-3. So yeah,
that's probably about where I am.
Yeah, I mean, certainly 0-3 is like the easiest to see not happening. I mean, that would just require them to do something that they haven't done all year, Jack, and that's lose 3 games in a row, which obviously has not been the case.
And maybe I'll eat my words, but I just really think Nebraska's going to beat Iowa.
Is there a part of you that worries at all that people are going to put so much into that and it's going to be such a frothing at the mouth crowd that if they get off to another slow start that
I don't think. I know what you're saying, but I just don't think that it's going to be a type of a crowd where it's going to get they're not going to get down. They're always unlike football crowds or previous basketball crowds where you're looking for a reason to be down. I think they're always going to be looking for a reason. I think there's just going to be so much of a bloodlust to beat Iowa, and I think confidence that this team can come back and go on a run. That I just, even if they would get down, I don't think what you're talking about is going to be a factor. Now, could they still lose? Sure, they could. But I'm not worried about that specific issue of the whole thing because I just, I think this crowd will do everything they can to will them to a victory in that game, no matter what the situation is.
Yeah, Jab says, who is the loss? UCLA, and then D-Dub adds, I think the UCLA game is tough. Don't underestimate the desperation of USC today. A loss today basically ends their season.
That's also true. This is this USC.
You guys talked about it yesterday.
Yeah. They're in the position.
USC is like Nebraska last year.
In. Yeah, they have just desperate for a win. This is their last best chance at a good win. I guess they still have UCLA, but this would be better for them, given Nebraska's sterling resume. So yeah, this is their season. It really is their season. I also think it's a decent matchup for Nebraska. But we'll see about that. I mean, I hate saying things like that. I'm so tenuous about saying anything positive, but I do think it's a decent matchup for Nebraska as well. I thought Kenobi from HHC, I would recommend if you reading his game, he does really good game previews. So go to Husker Hoop Central and read his game preview. And I read that last night and he kind of likened them in terms of style a lot like Maryland. Athletic, but better than Maryland. But they don't shoot threes particularly well. They're going to be good on the boards. They'll be a challenge for Nebraska on the boards. They're big, but they're not like the type of big that Purdue and Illinois primarily are. So like they're athletic big, if that makes sense. Not like Manute Bowl big.
Nice.
So that's so I think the matchup is favorable, but I think everyone who is pointing out that USC has everything to play for today, but frankly, they did against Oregon.
So is Nebraska, man.
Yeah, so does Nebraska.
Nebraska, they're in the tournament, but like if you want to make things easier on yourself, I mean, from a variety of standpoints, Jack, we've been talking mainly today, and we've been talking mainly the last few weeks about just NCAA tournament seeding. Big Ten tournament seeding, though. We had you on Sportsmanlike Conduct yesterday. Nebraska very much staring down the barrel now at a 2 seed in the conference. Given Michigan beating Illinois last night and everything else that's happened, the Purdue loss to Michigan State on Thursday, we are very much looking at that. If Nebraska is able to take care of business, that is huge, especially because, as we talked about with you yesterday, there's a world where, Illinois, Michigan, and Iowa, and was there another team, or all on one side of the bracket?
Purdue.
You get to avoid all, and Purdue. So you get to avoid all these teams that you're like, thank God, I don't want to see any of them in the first or second game.
I think that's still where it stands if you put in all the chalk on the simulator. B-ball at notnothing.net, and
such a strange URL.
I don't think it'll stay there, but I pulled that up. The guy on Twitter, the Pavelka's fat uncle guy, posted that after the game Thursday night, and I was like, wow, I had no idea something like this was even possible, to get all of those teams, to get Purdue, Illinois, and Michigan all on the other side. And yeah, you'll still have Michigan State and UCLA, but that bracket, if you look at it, that I'm talking about, Nebraska has beaten every team. If they would beat UCLA to get to there, they would
beat every team that would be on that side
in their half. They would be unbeaten against that whole half of the bracket, which is crazy.
Yeah, Dealer says a 4-way tie at 15-5 is a distinct possibility. Yeah, it certainly is.
And John ran that, and Nebraska ends up, I think, 2 in that, if he ran that scenario on that website. So, yeah.
Jordan asked a great question that I've been wondering about. Are we expecting / concerned about a slow start in every game going forward? Man, Jack, it's so weird how
the opposite at the earlier, because they started out so fast and couldn't keep it up.
Yeah, but if gosh, I'll just pull up the schedule. They had, since the Michigan game, so I will basically, Jack, let's just look at games in February. Got off to a slow start against Illinois, though they did finish the first half strong, and they had a first half lead. They got off to a slow start against Rutgers, right? Obviously, Purdue was a terrible start. Slow start against Northwestern, slow start against Iowa, not a slow start against Penn State, but then a slow start against Maryland. So in the month of February, they basically had slow starts, 85% of the time in these games. Whereas you look at January, that didn't happen.
It was the opposite.
No slow start against Michigan State, no slow start against Ohio State, no slow start against Indiana, none against
they
Oregon.
did have a little bit of a slow start against Indiana, but
did they? Well, they were up though early. They had a bad finish to the first.
Yeah,
half.
it was a bit, but
like
Ohio State
middle.
Against Illinois and Ohio State, they went nuts to start that game against those 2 games. Like they got up like 15 in both of those games, I think.
Yeah, so it's been more of a February problem. Yeah, Riz pointed out too, Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota, which was the game right before Michigan. And because remember that was the one where apparently Hoiberg was ripping into him at the half, and then they came out in the second half and just bludgeoned them, and they pulled away to pick up the 20th win of the year.
There's just been it's hard for me to get too locked into a trend with this offense, Josh, because it's a crazy thing. They've had this very overall consistent season in terms of winning, but there have been like 5 different versions of this offense. And fast starting, slow starting, rank mass dependent, rank mass completely undependent, crazy hot from 3, not crazy hot from 3, shoot a lot of free throws, shoot no free throws. And they've made almost all of them work at some point. The only one where it just 1,000% did not work at all the entire game was the Iowa game.
Yeah,
that was the only time when that happened.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, I just can't get myself too locked into any of the trends and thinking that's what it's going to be. Because like I told Caleb on the Nebrasketball hour after the Maryland game, you had the thing where they got off to a slow start. And then the last 10 minutes of the game, the offense looked like it did in November. And it was as moving fast. They got Mast involved in a way that he hadn't been. He scored the vast majority of points in the last 10 minutes of his points in the last 10 minutes of that game. All of a sudden, they got back to how they looked then. They pushed the pace, which I think they need to do more, and they hadn't been doing. So I don't know what you're going to get from this offense game to game. It usually works. Sometimes it doesn't. But I think the bigger question will be, I mean, like, I think they'll be able to do what they need to do to win the game there. It's going to be about getting rebounds. It's going to be about the other team getting to the free throw line. It's going to be, I think those are going to be the issues against USC. And, hopefully USC shoots like they have been from 3-point range, because I think that just has not, they don't have a ton of individual good shooters. So I think that'll be a huge deal if they can keep them from doing that. So yeah.
Jack, one of the conversations we've had a lot over the last month has been about Braden Frager. He got hurt against Washington on the 21st of January. So, I mean, it's been a month and a week since that happened. He, of course, his first game back was against Illinois, exploded for a lot of threes, but he did not have any explosion in actually how he kind of played laterally, especially. And that showed up over the course of the next few games. He had some really rough turnovers in there as well, in particular against, I know you didn't watch it, but the Purdue game was pretty rough for him in terms of, right, it was that or the Rutgers game where he was just making some mistakes. Iowa struggled against Iowa. Maryland seemed to be the first game since all of this unfolded that he looked like himself, where he could attack. He had the dunk against Iowa, and it was like, ooh, does he have some of that back? Man, the way he is, and sorry, now I'm just like interrupting myself. He had an offensive rebound against Penn State where it was like, okay, he is now doing the thing that he had been doing. I don't know if he's 100%, but he is really, really close to that if he is not. And I don't know if we have fully appreciated how important that is going to be, because we just had so many conversations lately about, first of all, everybody is sick and puking their guts out. Rick Mast hasn't played really good basketball essentially for, 2 months now? And Frager, like, his injury has been on the back burner in a way because of the other stuff. Jamarcus Lawrence, what's going on with him in the Penn State game after he exits a little bit early. Frager being himself again is going to be huge I think he is, but if he is himself over the next 3 games in the regular season, and then whatever happens next in the postseason.
Yeah, I guess the way you set that up, if you're looking for something to be optimistic about, how many players have not been either had something external or just been playing below where their real baseline has been.
Price is like the one consistent, right? And then everybody else has had ups and downs.
Price has been himself, and Hoiberg. I think Hoiberg too. Price and
Sam, yes. Good
and frankly, Hoiberg through this whole thing has gotten better every game. It's unbelievable. Really it's like awesome. The guy he's at the end of his senior year, and I swear he's adding things to his game.
Dude, that turnover where he's tipping the ball and throws it back in on Tuesday night was ridiculous.
Can you imagine if he had another year of eligibility?
Well, like, maybe they should sue and get a favorable judge to work in their favor.
Like, he would be like must-watch TV in college basketball. Can you believe we're saying that? Dude, I don't think that's an exaggeration.
There's been a lot of conversation lately about like where he's going to be on the all-conference teams. I put it on the list. I think he's going to be first team all-conference on the coaches team. I think that they're going to vote him that. I really believe
Coaches love him.
They do. They never shut up about him.
I know he's the dream player.
Never shut up about him.
He's the guy. Like, if you had half the heart of that kid, you'd be a lottery pick.
Yeah, exactly. The Rudy, nice, well done. This asshole thinks it's the NBA Finals.
That's what every team who plays against him at the end of the game. That is what I always. The last 2 games, I've just Penn State and Maryland. I could almost see it on their faces, and they're like, "Why is he trying so hard?" There's 10 and his conditioning and like whatever he does, like he somehow does this thing where his level of effort, he seems to get better as the game goes on. But the other thing about him is, I swear he's adding things to, he's added things piece by piece to his game. The defense has always been there. Then he started added a little bit of shooting, right? And then he added a little bit of finishing, the ability to finish at the rim. And then I think this year he's been adding lately. This is his new thing over the last 3 weeks. It's like, okay, just because I've got 2 guys going up for a rebound next to me who have 15 inches on me, I'm still going to find a way to get that. That's his new thing, is just insanely timed and knowing where the ball is going to be, smart rebounds. And I can't believe, I was sitting at the stadium I was at the game at Maryland, and there's 3 minutes left, and I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah, it's almost over.
43 minutes left of his career. And like we talked, I always thought, man, it's just not going to feel the same when Keisei Tominaga leaves. When he was there, it's just not going to be fun in the same way. And now I feel that way about Sam. Like,
I know,
what is it even going to feel like when he's not on the floor? Man, it's like, it feels like when you have a guy like that, it would be easy to overrate them just because it's a fun story, and he's a hard
coach's son,
a hard-working white guy. Every game, it makes me think, I think he's underrated.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I think it's funny because you're right. Like, he has all of these things that like a Midwestern basketball fan, would appreciate. Right.
Yes,
and like,
I get that.
In positives and like, I think in sometimes in like weirdly negative ways. I think he is all of that though. I don't think that I still don't think he's overrated, and maybe there's a point where it's like, he is overrated. He is not overrated. In a way, I think you might be right. He might still be underrated according to some and how he is viewed. We talked about the play where he tipped it and had the great pass, but then the possession late in the game that everybody's been celebrating that ended with Jamarcus turning around and walking away, as the ball was in the air. I mean, that possession, like that, if you want a possession that I think describes this team and why they're so good and why they're so special, that's going to be the one. Like, you had the topic with Schaefer yesterday on Unemployed, where it was like, if you could rewatch 5 games over the course of the last 3 seasons, which ones would you do? I'll turn it. If you could watch one possession over this season, that would be the one I would say. Watch that possession, because Sam drives. He could have scored. He kicks it to Lawrence, right? Lawrence could have shot it. No, he quickly, and then Sanford, and boom, and the place explodes. Like, that was awesome.
That was characteristic about what I was talking about that last 10 minutes of that game, though. They played so much faster. And Lawrence, I think, was the catalyst to it, because he was pushing the pace. He was the one who made that last pass on that play.
Yep.
And when Lawrence plays fast, I think that is, it's weird because he's like he's about the 5th or 6th guy that you mentioned on this team, but I feel like he is the most underrated catalyst to this offense.
I would
in the way that he plays point guard.
Yeah, we always rank when we're talking about most important, it used to be rank. I think the answer is obviously Price now. We're always going to talk about Price first. But then you can talk about Rink, and you can talk about Frager and what he's able to do. And obviously Sam. And then it's like, oh, yeah, then there's Lawrence too, and what he is able to do. And he's still the guy, Jack, who hit the shot at the end of the Illinois game.
Yeah, he also can get unbelievably hot from 3.
Exactly. He was the guy who was tearing it up against Michigan on the road a month ago. He was able to do all those things.
Every time he plays Indiana, that guy goes off from 3 through his whole career. And but to the original point, though, you really got me thinking when you were saying, it's true. Jamarcus, maybe at the end of that game, he's not been playing to where his baseline is. They're below their baseline. Rink is clearly below his baseline. That's the one I'm most worried about. He's been there for a long time. Fragers, I think, was physical. And as you said, I think the last 2 games have shown that when he gets physically right, he's going to bounce back, because he's another one that I keep being shocked at how good he is. Like, he is going to get, he and Price, and I know Price made the comment about the NBA, but the amount of calls that those 2 are getting, I'm assuming right now, and people wanting to throw a bag at those 2 is got to be unbelievable. Like, if they can come back with those 2 next year, and Sam will be gone and Rink will be gone, but if they can get those 2 guys back,
you can build a team around those guys. Yeah.
Buckle up, because it's going to be fun if they add.
Well, that's the thing. Jack, we have, not to bring everything back to football, we've talked for years about how important it is that the football team could have a good year, because the obvious, but also it makes things easier to recruit to. If you have a good team, it's like, hey, come join this and let's take this to the next level. Jack, I don't know if we can underestimate or overestimate. I always say this backwards. I don't know if we can talk enough, though, about how important it is for this season to finish strong and to pick up a win or 2. Imagine if they go to the Sweet 16. Imagine if they're able to do that, and then it's like, hey, you are a really good piece on a different roster. Do you want to come and join these 2 guys and others and help us get to the next level? Like that.
If they can keep them and have Fred Hoiberg coach you, who is, his reputation is going way up back to where it was before he got to Nebraska, or before he got to Chicago, I guess. You've got it, but you've got to keep those. We don't need to get into offseason. I'll go have plenty of time for that, but man, those 2 are the priority. Oh my gosh. If you can bring both of them back, and I'm worried, but if you can, especially about Frager, if you can, and they're just, I love that combo. I love that combo for this team going forward. But it's a here and now right now. Man, 3-0. If you can go 3-0, like it's almost everything is still out there that
I would say, Jack, if they go 3-0, I think you and I are going down to Oklahoma City with Caleb and Schaefer and
Star Wars house.
Yeah, Star Wars house.
Hot tub.
I got a text from a buddy of mine who will be going to the tournament, and he is one of our great supporters. He bought a hoodie as well, Corey. And he said, "Hey, what's up with this Star Wars house?" And I sent him a screenshot of it from Airbnb, and he goes, "Wow!" And he said, "I'm looking at a different house that apparently is also a Star Wars house in Oklahoma City." So I don't know what's going on down. I don't know what's going on down in Oklahoma City, but there are multiple Star Wars houses.
I hope we got the better one. That's like how there are 2 vans that are painted like the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine in Lincoln. And I was like, how? And I always think when the second one showed up to town and they were like, "Oh baby, I'm going to set this town on fire." They're going to be like, "Is that a Scooby-Doo van?" Wow, that's awesome. I loved watching Thelma and Daphne growing up. And then he's driving around, getting ready for the town to go nuts. And he looks over.
He's driving around. At a
stoplight. And it's another
looks over and sees another one.
You've got to be freaking kidding me. I'm the second Scooby-Doo van in a town of 300,000. You've got to be kidding me.
Oh man. So, D-Dub says there's a chance of a lifetime to change the trajectory, or this is a chance of a lifetime to change the trajectory of the program. If they can't get money ahead of time from boosters, you have to have Dan figure it out through the rev share and deal with it later.
Absolutely.
They'll be fine. I'm not worried, Jack. They'll keep them. Everything is going to be just fine. Yeah. Everything is going to be great.
But getting back to this season, today's huge. Yeah. It is huge because you get that one in there, and the 3-0 is still alive, and if it ends up being 2-1, I think you're probably still a 3 seed, but I don't think you're going to Oklahoma City anymore.
Well, in that case, we're doing a lot of scoreboard watching at that point in time, and we're saying, please, Kansas, lose, get upset at the end of the year, yada, yada.
And the other thing is, I honestly don't know the answer to this question, but
conference tournament?
Yeah, I just don't know how the conference tournament affects things. Like, if you lost the conference tournament, would a win in the semifinal essentially cancel that out? I don't know.
Yeah. It's a great question. Like if they go 2-1, let's say they lose on Tuesday to UCLA. And then they go to the final. They make it all the way to Sunday, the Big Ten tournament. So that means that they beat 2 solid teams and probably 1 really good team along the way. What does that do? What does that cancel? Does that cancel it out? What if they played Michigan State in the conference tournament and they beat them and they lost to Illinois or Michigan or something? What does that mean?
I honestly don't know, because I've been thinking of it I've been so tunnel vision on the regular season outcome. And I understand that the conference tournament is less important, but it certainly has some impact on how everything happens and what happens to the teams you're close to too. What's Kansas do in the conference tournament? Go to the championship as opposed to lose out early.
Which is why, Jack, and we're about to cut this one short a little early so we can go a little longer for our subscribers because Jack has a hard out today. That's why the rooting guides are so important, which you can find across all of the I-80 Club social.
Is it G. Murrow who makes those?
I believe so.
Caleb's been posting them. And shout out Caleb. He has been beefing up all of the quick kernels. I hope you guys are liking those. With we got a dream team put together with Hanley and Roar and Caleb and I suppose
don't worry, I'll start doing some football ones pretty soon when there's something of note to talk about.
If you know someone who's not on Twitter, not a Patreon member, like make sure they like our Instagram and our Facebook, especially because those are going up regular. We are way more active on those. Caleb has got us going on those.
Thank you, Caleb.
And so huge shout out to him, but we are growing those areas. So like, I'm thinking of people's parents, on Facebook and not Twitter. So
that is a great
or those of you who aren't on Twitter. And we're more active on Blue Sky again.
Look at us.
I know we got some Blue Sky folks.
Jack, before we go, so we mentioned it a little bit earlier, all of the great sponsors of the Road Show. And so updated with all 8 of our confirmed sponsors. There's still a couple others that we are
on the bubble.
down. Yep, but you see all of them. We mentioned some of the new ones earlier. Pinnacle Bank Arena. We did not mention them, but Pinnacle Bank
you got
Arena,
them on there. All right.
I got them on there as well. Shout
Pinnacle
out
Bank
to
Arena. What? Where the Huskers play?
Yeah, our community partners, a dream team of supporters that we very, very, very much appreciate. Not to mention all of our subscribers that have purchased hoodies as well. And again, the link is in the show notes. If you would like to buy one of those, you'll get a shout out as we do many shows. I was talking about it, Jack, with somebody this week. Like, they were like, so what's your plan on doing shows? And I said, well, we'll be doing a Saturday morning coffee show. We will be doing Unemployed with Mike Schaefer. We will be doing a recap Nebrasketball hour. But depending on the time of game, maybe a little after dark action.
Yeah, be bringing
as
after dark. The plan is to do every show daily. So we're thinking about 4 hours of content a day. From wherever we're located. Some of them might be at the I-80 house. We're also in some conversations with a entity that is going to gather a lot of Husker fans together to co-locate with them.
Hello.
So
very interesting.
Be waiting for that. We're working with them to knock out a spot in wherever we're at. So stay tuned for detail. If you go, make sure and connect with us because we want to hang out with you throughout the course of this thing. So
yeah, absolutely.
And for those who can't go, like, which has been me every other year. Yeah. Like, we want you to feel like you're there.
Yeah. And that's what
it sucks not to be there.
Yeah, and in the whenever we're asking folks to help support us, that's one of the things that is so vital for us is that we want to make those who will be unable to go to feel like they are there. So that's going to be our goal, and I think we're going to execute that very well. So it's crazy. We are less than a month away from doing this. We are a few weeks away from finding out where will we be going, and I can't wait to find out, Jack, where we will be headed and to deliver all the coverage. So it's going to be great. A dream a few months ago, and now we're actually doing it.
I interrupted your very nice thing you were saying there. Okay. Sorry. I'm just thinking that there are things we're not going to say today too, that there's like even more that we are working on that's out there that you're working on particular that I can't wait to eventually get out there. Yeah. So
Yep. Yeah. Pretty cool time for the I-80 Club. All right, we're gonna head out now. Again, because Jack has a hard out at 10:45, so we're gonna move on over into I-80 Live. If you are a subscriber, head to that link. You got it emailed to you this morning. If you're on the Discord server, it is of course available there. And we'll do another about an hour, and we'll talk some more hoops, maybe some football. Who knows?
Interactive. I don't know. We'll see what people want to talk about.
Exactly. So we'll do that. See everybody in a couple of minutes. Thanks for watching. Nebrasketball Hour, public show later tonight, 5:30. Stay tuned to the socials for the post-game time. Caleb will be at home, so
I'm getting the bourbon out if they win. I'm committing it. Maybe I'll get some a step down of whatever that Old Weller that I was drinking, which was tasty.
Old Weller? Old Yeller?
No, Old Weller. I think it's called Old Weller. Old Weller? Well, maybe it's not Old Weller. Maybe I don't know.
Gotta be your bowl.
Maybe I'll get some Seagram 7 or something. We'll see.
And look at this real quick before we leave. Michael Severe, good show. You got robbed in the bracket. Well, thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. Saturday morning.
We lost in the bracket. Who's still alive? Yeah. We got any of our guys still alive?
Volleyball State and Unemployed.
Good. I'm conference cheering. They both moved to the second round.
Maybe you and I suck, but we're good bosses, right? Is that the hope?
Volleyball State is the Florida of this tournament.
Oh,
everyone's like,
you mean that is a negative?
No, I don't. Everyone's like, I mean, this is how I feel about them. It's just like, people won't say this, but I think they might win the whole thing. That's what I feel about Volleyball State, the Florida of the. I wonder what their matchups are coming up. Do we know?
Sorry, we could probably find them.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
All right, we're gonna head out. Yep. Bye. All right, I-80 Live coming soon. Thanks, everybody. We will talk to you later today. Bye-bye.